Ever wanted to learn about unreleased Mega Man games? Find out in every canceled Mega Man game. Game Facts Special. There have been 11 canceled games in the Mega Man series, including games for Game Boy Advance, DS, PS3, Xbox 360, and more. Megaman Mania. In 2004, around the release of Mega Man's Anniversary Collection, a Game Boy Advance game was set to be released alongside it. Reported to be a compilation of the 5 Game Boy exclusive Mega Man World games, they would have been colorized for the Game Boy Advance and given extra features on top of all the content of the originals. It's thought that Capcom had lost some of the source code from the original games, and what would have been a relatively simple job meant that the teams were having to redo assets and animations from scratch. Another theory about the cancellation is that Capcom had internally moved the project to DS before it was cancelled. A few screenshots and early advertisements for the game are all that remains. Mega Man Star Force 4. Star Force 3 did not sell as well as Capcom had hoped, which led to the unfortunate cancellation of its sequel. Star Force 4's story was going to focus on an older version of the main protagonist of the series, Geo Stellar, alongside a brand new character named Kazuma. The duo would become outlaws after some hacking exploits. A price of 16 million zenny was put out for their capture as the game commenced. Hacking mechanics would have played a large role in the game's mechanics, similar to the way noise worked in Star Force 3. The game was said to be more mature in tone and aimed at older audiences. It was only discovered to have been in development in 2019, when an old piece of concept art by team member Shinsuke Kamaki depicted Geo and Kazuma standing side by side. It surfaced on Rockman Corner, one of the detailed Mega Man archival fan sites. Megaman Universe. There's a reason as to why many Mega Man games were cancelled around 2010. It comes down to Keiji Inafune announcing his departure from Capcom. He started out as an artist and illustrator on the first Mega Man game, and many subsequent installments in the franchise. Eventually, he became the senior producer on the series, but after 23 years, he left Capcom, and with that came many game cancellations, including Mega Man Universe. Universe was going to be based on the gameplay of Mega Man 2, and would involve players constructing their own Mega Man suit by assembling his various parts. The game was shown to keen eyes at PAX in 2010. It would have been released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. The show preview demonstrated various characters that players could utilize, even hinting that Ryu from Street Fighter might make a crossover appearance. Another standout feature from this game would have made use of the console's online networks at the time, and had a level editor for users to create their own levels and share them online, like Mario Maker before Mario Maker and for Mega Man. Along with the departure of Inafune, Capcom and Mega Man's home country, Japan, experienced a terrible earthquake and tsunami prior to release. It's speculated that this may have caused irreparable damage to development of the game. It was officially cancelled on March 31, 2011. Mega Man ZXC. What would have been the third release in the Mega Man ZX series? It was unknown until a panel held by employees of Inti Creates, the developer of the ZX Mega Man series, discussed that ZXC was in development at one point. The team were chatting while playing through Mega Man 9 when they mentioned that the player character gameplay felt so smooth, and that they had actually used the character physics from ZXC and ported them to Mega Man 9 halfway through development on ZXC. After this, they suddenly went quiet on the topic and agreed that it's likely not their place to talk about the cancelled game, while comedically mentioning that those who cancelled the game likely don't even work at Capcom anymore. Prior to this, in Japan, there had been rumors of another ZX game titled ZX Cradle, with the conversation on panel seeming to confirm these rumors. Rockman Online. This co-developed project by Capcom and Korean studio NeoWiz Games was going to be an MMORPG set in the Mega Man world. This story was set several years after the X series of games, with its plot being summarized in 2 released animated story trailers. In the years after being cancelled, Rockman Online would see a barrage of leaked art and designs from the team as far back as 2007, 4 whole years before the game's announcement in 2010. The game would feature 2 factions and numerous playable characters, among 4 classes that would offer differing playstyles. Players would take part in battles in a large military facility named Fortress Gaia, which was home to different environments such as forests and cityscapes. A beta test was planned, with Capcom going so far as to hold contests for chances to beta test the game, but the beta test never came, and Rockman Online was officially axed in 2013. Rockman X Interactive. According to Super Rockman Adventure design documents put up for auction in 2018, there was supposed to be another interactive movie game named Rockman X Interactive. Fans speculate that the game was going to be set in the X Universe and would have been a follow-up to the 1988 movie game. Research conducted on Rockman Corner shows that work on the unreleased title had actually commenced a few years before Super Rockman Adventure was released. The documents detailed the plot involving a character named Dr. Neutral running simulations of Earth's future, and the game may have started with X fighting Planty, Mad Pecker, or Sting Chameleon in the jungle. Rockman XZ Time Rift. Rockman XZ Time Rift was set to be developed by Chinese studio Nebula Joy, who had completed previous work localizing the global version of Rockman X Dive. If released, fans would have been treated to a crossover of the X and Zero series in the Megaman Universe. Rockman Corner reported on a 19-second advertisement clip for the game, which showed X and Zero commencing battle in what looks like a storage facility. Only a single screenshot was leaked, and it showed classic side-scroller Mega Man gameplay. The developers were releasing this for mobile platforms and aimed for quality to be high, ambitiously aiming to match what would be out on consoles for the time of release around 2022. An anonymous source told Rockman Corner that Capcom pulled the plug on this project due to Devil May Cry: Pillars of Combat underperforming. Although it doesn't seem like we'll be getting a release, more info may be coming soon according to Rockman Corner. Wily and Wright's Rockboard, That's Paradise, Gameboy port. Wily and Wright's Rockboard is a business board game simulator that was released for the Famicom in 1993. It came out only in Japan and featured gameplay similar to Monopoly, but utilizing all things Rockman. It turned out that a port of this game was in development for release on the Game Boy. The port was intended to play exactly as it did on the Famicom, but would have no color and would be reduced in its resolution. Japanese company Dual were the developers on this project, but their work was shut down when Nintendo found that it did not conform to their strict guidelines that they place on third-party developments. Nintendo would perform checks known as law checks, and failure to pass halted Rockboard's progress. Information about this port was found in Nintendo's GigaLeak in 2020. Capcom Super League Online, known as Capsule for short, was a mobile game set to be developed by the Korean studio Kakao Games. It's reported to have had a concept similar to Nintendo's Super Smash Bros., and that the game would feature a bunch of different iconic characters from Capcom's various franchises. Some of these franchises included Street Fighter, Ace Attorney, Resident Evil, and of course, Mega Man. Players would have been able to assemble Mega Man, Rush, Roll, Forte, Blues, Sigma, and Zero as part of their hero ensemble. Rather than being a side-on fighter like Smash Bros., Super League was described as being a hero strategy RPG, with others comparing the style to a tactical action RPG. Gameplay was based on a grid-like movement system with turn-based combat that was typical of the genre, but would also include breakaway minigames when not in the midst of action. The game would enter 4 days of beta testing in October of 2018, but unfortunately was cancelled 6 months later. Maverick Hunter. Maverick Hunter was set to be a darker take on the Megaman X series. The project was codenamed Maverick Hunter during its 6-month stint in development. It was cancelled in 2010. Mega Man fans didn't even know of its existence until 3 years later, in April 2013, when Polygon posted a lengthy article on the cancelled game. In development with Armature Studio, Maverick Hunter was going to be a modern take on the series. It was being developed as a first-person shooter, while retaining the qualities and concepts of the Mega Man X series. It's reported that classic traversal mechanics in the platformer were going to be reimagined, including the dash, wall jump, and combat mechanics, like the arm cannon. Story-wise, the game was planned to be a trilogy, with the trio of games encompassing a continuous story of a playable Zero who would be forced to destroy X, who would amass significant power and intelligence by the end of the games. Since its cancellation, various art pieces have been leaked by team members from its short time in development, including a metallic character design by Adi Granov. Mega Man Legends 3, Rockman Dash 3. The sequel to Mega Man Legends 2 was tragically and mysteriously cancelled when a message in the summer of 2011 was posted by the dev team that told fans of its fate. The team had created a website called The Dev Room in order to keep Mega Man fans updated, and also involved throughout the development process of Legends 3. On the website, the devs held various community art competitions, polls, and idea suggestion events. The news of the cancellation hit the Mega Man community hard, especially in light of other Mega Man cancellations also happening around that time. Fans voiced their opinions with an organized campaign in an attempt to persuade Capcom to continue development. Some details from Capcom have hinted at why the cancellation happened, with the European Capcom Twitter claiming that not as many people took part in the DevRoom website as hoped, leading to the devs to believe that there wasn't much interest in the game. Many Mega Man fans still, after all this time, haven't given up hope and are hoping for a sequel to the Legends series in the future. Check out our episodes on every cancelled Kirby game and every cancelled Sonic game. Thanks for watching. This has been a Game Facts Special.